It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as we have more on Bray Wyatt's upcoming movie as well as a potential return to WWE. A major WWE contract has been extended, and a huge free agent is set to be backstage at AEW DYNAMITE tonight. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on as we make one last push towards 30,000 subscribers, and we're just over 100 away. Over the past couple of years, WWE have released a number of wrestlers from their roster. One of the releases was former 24/7 champion Drake Maverick, who was released twice in the space of 19 months. He was initially let go in April 2020 before he was rehired soon after. He would then once again be released in November 2021. In an interesting turn of events, Maverick has once again been hired by WWE 1 month after his second release. However, this time Maverick is no longer part of the active roster and has instead joined the creative team. Drake, real name James Curtin, has posted a statement to his LinkedIn page revealing that he was offered the role towards the end of 2021. He would suggest that he is happy with how his career ended, referencing his hometown appearance for WWE in Birmingham, England, in front of his parents, where he found himself at peace with his accomplishments. He would add that he's happy to expand his horizons and said, "I now have the opportunity to expand my horizons even further in the industry I love, as well as many other avenues including film and television. After a career beginning in 2001 as an in-ring performer, I have personally exceeded all of my personal expectations from a geographical and physical standpoint in a line of work somebody like myself should have never succeeded in." From the statement, it appears that Maverick is now content with how his wrestling career played out, with this suggesting that his in-ring career is now over. Next, let's go to an update regarding the upcoming Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, Sacrifice. 3 matches have been added to the card, including 2 title matches. Yesterday it was announced that Bullet Club's Jay White is set to take on TNA veteran Alex Shelley, which is being billed as a dream match. The two men do have a history, having teamed together several times over the years and have competed against each other in the past. As well as this, an Impact Knockouts tag title match has been added to the card, with the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, now scheduled to defend their titles against the Influence, the team of Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rayne. The match was originally scheduled for January's Hard to Kill pay-per-view, but plans fell through due to one of the champions coming to close contact with the virus. As well as the Knockouts tag titles, the X Division Championship will be on the line as Trey Miguel is set to defend his title against Jake Something. Something became the #1 contender after defeating Ace Austin, Chris Bay and Mike Bailey in a 4-way match at No Surrender last weekend, and it's been confirmed that his title shot will now take place at Sacrifice. The Impact Wrestling Sacrifice event is scheduled for Saturday, March 5th from Louisville, Kentucky, and will air live on Impact Plus and YouTube for Ultimate Insiders, which is their channel membership scheme. And speaking of Impact Wrestling, a former Impact champion has made his official AEW debut. On a taped episode of AEW Dark, Rohit Raju would take part in an 8-man tag match, joining Karam, Sathira Shun and Caleb Teneniti, I think that's how you pronounce it, to go up against JD Drake, Cesar Bononi, Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth, also known as the Wingmen. In the end, Raju's team came up unsuccessful. Raju would make his Impact debut in 2017 and would eventually win the company's X Division title in August 2020. His reign would last 120 days. His Impact contract would ultimately expire in January this year, taking to social media to reveal that he is now a free agent. Technically, he has already made his AEW debut during a defeat to Sean Dean at the January 15th AEW Dark tapings in Orlando, although the match didn't air. Since we didn't have a news video last night, instead releasing a list covering 10 things you didn't know about Danhausen, which you should obviously watch if you haven't already, let's go to a late story from the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw. During the show and on social media, WWE would make several references to Cody Rhodes, who recently departed All Elite Wrestling, with reports suggesting that he is set to sign for WWE. WWE themselves would play up to the rumors, teasing that Cody could fill one of 2 spots. The first tease came when The Miz introduced his mystery tag team partner for his tag match against Rey and Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania, and before the reveal, Miz would say, "I have found a new tag team partner going into WrestleMania. Someone I can relate to, someone I can trust, someone from a fighting family. He's very dashing. Someone who is an athlete and a celebrity." For those that don't know, dashing was the word used to describe Cody during his WWE run, with him at one point being billed as the narcissistic, dashing Cody Rhodes. In the end, this tease turned out to be a troll, as The Miz would bring out YouTuber Logan Paul as his mystery partner, but it's clear WWE were trying to light a fire under the Cody talk. This would happen again on the same night, as following Edge's WrestleMania Open Challenge, WWE's official Twitter account would tweet, "There's no smoke and mirrors about it. Edge is ready to make more WrestleMania magic this year." Smoke and Mirrors is a reference to Cody's WWE entrance music, with this not only being the name of the song, but it's also a line from the track itself, which says "You're only smoke and mirrors." Whilst Cody is a possibility to fill the spot in the match, WWE would also tease AJ Styles as his opponent, which would line up with recent reports. Whether or not Cody will be in the match, WWE clearly want to keep his name in fans' mouths, with him likely to return to the promotion in the very near future. WWE superstar Montez Ford appeared on Ryan Satin's Out of Character podcast this week, where he discussed his career so far and his love for former WWE champion The Rock. In a 2019 interview with Sam Roberts, Ford would reveal that in school he would cut promos on his teacher in the style of the People's Champion, leading to him getting kicked out of class. In the chat with Satin, he would double down on his love for The Rock, and he said, "The Rock, I was already hooked, but in school I would write my K's how he would sign his name. Style, dress, electrifying, everything he says he is, just how he is as a person as well. A huge inspiration to myself, my family, getting us through so many hard and rough times, going through personally. That's why I hold true and dear The Rock to my heart." The Rock would respond to Ford's interview on Instagram, where he would speak of the unique bond within the wrestling business, and followed up with a bold prediction: one day Montez Ford will be world champion. And he would write, "Just taking a moment to tell this man Montez Ford how much I appreciate his kind and beautiful words. We've never shared the ring together, but pro wrestlers all have a very special bond. Pro wrestling is a very unique, intense and wild culture that's not for everybody. When you love the wrestling business, you become very respectful about the wrestling business. And when you're respectful about the wrestling business, you become passionate about the wrestling business. It seeps deep into your DNA. Fans can always sense who's passionate inside that squared circle and who's not. This man is passionate. We share that DNA, and he flies like the Superfly. Keep kicking ass, brother, and give my love to your family. And when you become world champion one day, I'll be right there rooting you on." Right now, Montez Ford is one half of the popular Street Profits tag team and refused to answer the question on whether he will eventually become a singles competitor. He seems open to the idea, but reiterated his friendship with Angelo Dawkins. But do you agree with The Rock, and could you see Montez Ford as a future breakout singles star or even a world champion? Let me know in the comments down below. This past November, former WWE superstar Bray Wyatt would take part in the production of an upcoming feature film in collaboration with Jason Baker of Colossum Studios. This week, Baker would speak with the RRGB podcast, where he provided an update on the movie as well as his friendship with Wyndham. And he would say, "It's happening, it's going. We did some stuff in November in Tennessee and we're working on some more stuff. It's coming along. Hopefully people like it when we get it all put together. I had such a blast working with him and directing him, and when we did the original first 8 Firefly Funhouse segments, we just clicked and became really good friends. He's an amazing collaborator and one of the smartest people I know. Why wouldn't I want to work with him? We have some other really good people involved. It should be fun once we finally get to put boots to the ground, which is always the hardest part, getting all your ducks in a row, which we're working on, and going from there." Wyatt was released from WWE in July 2021, and for now it seems that he's got his eye on the film industry rather than the wrestling business. Baker would discuss whether he sees Wyndham returning to WWE in the future, although he's not too sure, and he would say, "It's all above my pay grade. Again, I have an amazing relationship with Bray and an amazing friendship with WWE. They have been amazing to us. Of course, I wish he was still there. It was some of the funnest things I ever got to do, professionally and personally, was involved with him and WWE. Again, circumstances that I was not a part of and don't know exactly what went down. It's just sort of how it goes. Would I like to see him back there? Of course. Is he going to be? I have no idea. Even if he was, I wouldn't want to know because I want to be surprised just like everyone else. If he does come back, I hope he doesn't tell me and I find out like everyone else." Wyndham is set to appear at WrestleCon in Dallas this April during WrestleMania weekend, which is his next known public appearance. Whether or not he would be back in wrestling officially by that point is unknown, although he looks to be chasing another passion of his in the meantime. Next, let's go to some WWE contract news as a top star has signed a brand new contract. Last month, it was reported by Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio that he was told AJ Styles extended his WWE deal. This is now being confirmed by Fightful Select, who have been able to obtain some more details regarding the news. Whilst they weren't told the length of his contract, his original deal was set to expire this spring or summer. Were he to eventually become a free agent, WWE expected Styles to have plenty of suitors and wanted to get him tied down before anybody else could approach him. Styles is said to have signed a multi-year contract which will keep him in WWE for the foreseeable future. The report states that Styles is said to be very happy in the company and has mentioned numerous times that he'd like to work for WWE after his wrestling career comes to an end. Regarding money, the new contract is said to be bringing Styles well over $3 million a year, and WWE sources feel he deserves every penny and would easily make that back for the company. He is also said to have some additional bus travel accommodations paid for. Styles was last a free agent when he left New Japan Pro-Wrestling back in January 2016, shortly before his WWE debut at the Royal Rumble that year. It seems he won't be back on the market anytime soon and looks more than happy with his current situation. And finally, let's go to a story regarding tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite as a free agent is due to be backstage. According to Fightful Select, AEW sources have indicated that ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham is slated to be backstage at the show tonight in Bridgeport, Connecticut, although there is no confirmation as to whether he'll be appearing on screen. Although he is currently Ring of Honor's World Champion, Gresham is still technically a free agent and has been working for a number of different promotions where he has defended his title under pure rules. This leaves open the possibility of an appearance on Dynamite tonight, perhaps with him even set to defend his belt on the show. Gresham is due to appear for his own promotion Terminus tomorrow, whose show is taking place in the Atlanta area, a relatively short trip from Bridgeport. He is set to take on AEW's Santana for what is being billed as the original ROH World Championship on that show. The difference in name is due to Bandido holding the official ROH World Championship, although he had to pull out of their match at Final Battle, leading to Gresham fighting Jay Lethal for the classic belt. The titles will be unified at April's Supercard of Honor event. But let me know in the comments below what you think of Jonathan Gresham potentially appearing on AEW Dynamite, and do you think he'll be on the show? And before you go, make sure you check out 10 things you didn't know about AEW's Danhausen.